Okay, so once you have some cleanup done and you're satisfied with the overall look and feel of your line art, you can start thinking about how you're going to color. I'm going to use a single layer coloring approach, and in order to do that, one of the first things I want to do is create a selection for maybe the major parts of the illustration. I'll demonstrate that using maybe a combination of the Magic Wand tool, which selects pixels based on a color range. I have the Marquee Polygonal Lasso tool and the Lasso tool. And then if I had geometric shapes, I could use a few of these. So I'm going to start with the easiest one, which I showed during last class demo. I'm not, this is just more personal preference. The Magnetic Lasso tool, probably a better choice. I trust the Polygon Lasso tool. I remember when the Magnetic Lasso tool was made, and I remember when it just didn't work that well. So let's give it another chance here. So let's say I'm kind of dragging along. You can see how this is automatically depositing kind of a ragged line of pixels, and this is why I don't like it, because it does that. So instead of using that one, I'm going to go ahead and use the Polygonal Lasso tool because it's going to let me work all the way around the artwork with a series of clicks. My goal is to have the paint pixels rest within an area that overlaps the edge of the line. How much of that overlap, I get, that's going to come down to personal preference. Whatever aesthetic you're aiming for the file, you may want it to be super precise, or you might want it to be a little loose in terms of how accurately it aligns to the lines of your line art. So I'm just doing a tap, and then I'm double click to close. If I click too many times, I can just do an undo, Command Z, and then I can recall the pixels. This selection can be frozen, so in Photoshop there is a quick mask mode. This will freeze the marching ants of your selection and turn them into think of this as a painting or a mask. The areas that are still normal represent the areas that are selected within the marching ants. The areas that get this tint of pink are the non-selected areas. So this is another way, if I switch to my brush tool, if you can freeze your pixels using the equivalent of a quick mask mode, you're then going to be able to paint with your stylus or your mouse or whatever tool you're using. You're going to be able to paint the selection. So I'm adding to the selections kind of the non-selected areas, so maybe I don't want the eyes to be included in the selection. Maybe I don't want the lips to be included in the selection. So I am masking them out, in this case, by painting with black. So this default black and white, if you can find the equivalent in Fresco or Procreate or Clip Studio Paint, then lock that in. And then when you're doing this kind of masking, because this can take some time, it can be tedious, you'll be able to use your shortcut to swap between the two. So if I want to edit these edges, I can paint with white. And then X, if I want to add to those edges, I can paint with black. Painting with black is going to add to the mask. Painting with white is going to subtract from the mask, the temporary quick mask. And again, everything that's pink is going to be not selected, and then what is not pink is going to be the selection. So I'm going to hit Q one more time, and now I have a selection that includes just the face, not the lips, and not the eyes. Saving the selection, this is the long way. We call this face skin. And then I can continue on. I hit Q and hit a little shortcut. I do a Command I. And let's say maybe I want to have just the hair. Well, we'll go through the same process. I can either use the selection tool again, Q, and select around the hair, input selection to isolate it. If I wanted the background, there are ways of getting different parts unselected quickly. But in this one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the video here, and then when we come back, I will have the hair, the face, the eyes and mouth, the sweater, and the background isolated or saved as their own saved selections. These are going to be individual alpha channels. So save a selection, you're going to get an alpha channel. That's why it's important to label them, although you do get a nice little thumbnail here. As a reminder, I think I might have, no, I didn't make these larger. I thought I did. Okay, so this is my, which layer is this? This is going to be my flaps layer later on. But what I'm going to do is just spend some time carefully selecting these parts, and then we will continue.